know that you care about diversity. And so showcase that in what you're doing, what you're trying to do to make things better. Sustainability. They care about sustainability and the environment. This truck here is actually here in Louisville. M&M Cartage, they are a trucking company, a local family owned, and they actually have an EV truck. So this is an EV truck. It's a local shuttle that just goes back and forth from the plant to like parts distribution center. And so, you know, showcasing if you guys are doing something like that, or just anything that you're doing. You have a recycling program at your company. Just what you're doing for sustainability, because young people really do care about the environment. And trucking, I mean, we've made so many strides since the 1980s in terms of the cleanliness of diesel vehicles. And so showcasing that out there is important. So how can companies retain? So you've got them, you've attracted them, and now you want to retain them. So some of the things that you can do to retain them are have an attractive career pathway, your company culture, flexibility, pay and benefits, and continuing education that you provide. So a career path, right? Attracting people into a driver job or a mechanic job, but knowing that there's so many other jobs. A lot of people, you might own a trucking company today, or maybe you're the safety manager. But a lot of you started off being a driver for the company, right? Showcasing what you have done and what these young people, the career paths that they can have within the job that they start, right, with you. That's very important because a lot of these young people, they're entrepreneurial, so they want to be an owner-operator, and that is a goal of theirs. So what can you do as a company to showcase, you know, maybe you have company drivers and maybe you have some lease drivers. What can they do just to elevate their career? Really too, it's about telling your story. This gentleman, just on their website, he was a part-time warehouse worker at Performance Food Group, and now he is a supervisor. And so what can you do to tell your story? Probably you sitting in this room. You might not like that, but you know, sharing your story of the fact where you started and now where you are today is very important. Continuing education. You know, there's NATME courses, and maybe you help your employees get safety certified. That little mascot is the Luma Learning mascot, so they have videos that drivers can watch to better their skill set. What are the things that you do for your drivers like that? Do you have employee college reimbursement? Some companies have that. So just kind of showcasing what you do. Do you have a mentorship program? Like if you get a new driver to come work for you, do you have a way for them to be successful and for them to be mentored and for them to know that you care about them? They want that family environment. Here's somebody, I actually met this guy, his name's Jamal. I met him at a conference in New Orleans, and he was really excited. He came up to me, and he had just gotten his CDL. And he was like, hey, I want you to know I just got my CDL. In a couple weeks, I'm starting my first driving job, and I'm really excited. And I was like, okay, well, tell me, why did you decide you wanted to be a driver? And he did a lot of research, and he felt like he had skills that really aligned with being a great professional driver. So one of the things is he had a lot of customer service skills, and he knew he had a lot to give back to the people that he served and the community and his customers. And so he was excited to you know, be that professional driver, have those customer service skills. He lived in New Orleans, and he had only left New Orleans a couple times because of hurricanes. And he was excited to go see the country. So young people, they want to see the world, they want to see what it's all about. The job he got was a flatbed job. He was excited that it had a little bit of physical aspects to it. He's on the younger side, and his friends were all coming back from college with a lot of student loan debt. And he was like, I'm getting ready to go work and start making really good money. My friends are coming back with student loan debt. And he was really excited. And the last thing he said is that he was excited to get out of his mama's house. And we can do that in trucking, right? Your jobs pay well in your community, and you can help elevate a young person's life and put that smile on their face. One of the things that I know is really hard in our industry is flexibility. Young people do love to have that flexible schedule. I was talking to a group of concrete operators, and they were like, well, we had a really hard time being able to be flexible. They've got a lot of weekend work, but what they determined is a lot of people like 2 days off in a row. So sometimes those 2 days off was a Monday, Tuesday, or a Thursday, Friday. So like looking outside the box of some different things you can do to be flexible. DOT Transportation, they have a schedule where you can be on 5 days, off 3 days, and then off 3 on 5, or they have this like floating schedule that reverses, and they know their schedule all the way through the year, and so they can plan things. They can plan vacation. They can plan when they need to be off. If they have like a health thing for themselves, they need to go to surgery or what have you, so they know their schedule. It is really hard though, right, for us in trucking to be flexible. But if you could just brainstorm some different things and ways to be flexible for your technicians or your drivers, I think, and your office workers, I think that's gonna go a long way. Company culture is also really important to Gen Z. For instance, do you have a pet policy? Can pets come on the road with your drivers? Do you celebrate milestones at your company? Million miles, safe miles. Somebody's been there for 5 years, or maybe it's their 1-year anniversary or birthdays. Really showcasing what you do to celebrate your employees and putting that on social media. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but people really care about that, and they want to know that they're not just a number, but that people really care about them and care who they are, and that they want to invest in them as an employee. And so that is also something that's really important. Do you host a family touch a truck event for your employees or in your community and invite all your employees to come? I have to tell you, my kids love coming to the truck show here. They are so excited. They're coming on Saturday. Can you encourage events like this to get young kids in trucks and get excited about trucking? And just bringing family events in for your employees is a great way to just build up your company culture. Jonathan, he's actually a technician here in Louisville, and we talked about, he's young, he's got a young family, he's in his mid-20s, and his first job right out of high school, he was a technician, right out of high school. He went to high school to be a diesel technician. And we said, hey, I said, okay, well, what do you wish would have happened? He said, so just so you know, there's about 250 high school diesel tech programs across the country. He wishes that more industry people would have been involved in his diesel tech program and come and talk to him about opportunities at their company, because he really didn't know much and he really had to do all this research on his own. So the first company he went to work for, he just didn't fit in with the culture. And then he went to work for a local dealership, and he felt like they cared about him. He felt like it was a family environment. They cared about who he was, his kids, and he was excited about the company. He had no plans of leaving. He just wishes he would have gotten there sooner. So getting connected in your local community and investing in young people is really important in order to build up your workforce. Another important thing for attracting the next generation is pay and benefits. And actually, this picture up here is Hill Transportation. They actually have a truck out in the north wing I just saw today. And I talked to Billy, who owns Hill today. They're a Louisville-based company. And he said that he really sees that young people, they want to know how much they're going to make, and they want to know how much they can budget every month and what they can do for their family. So he swears by a salary pay. He also says it has made his fleet safer because they're getting paid every day to do that pre-trip inspection, and it doesn't matter if they get hung up, they're getting paid the same amount, whether there's attention time or anything, because they're on a salary. They get salary, they get benefits, they know what they're going to earn, they know how they can run their family and what they can do. And so looking at different options is important. So you've hired them, you're retaining them, how can you manage them? As you see, like everybody's looking at their phones, right? That's Gen Z. There's a lot of technology that you can do within your company to prioritize technology and collaborating and communication. Young people, they want to be a part of your team, and they want to give their opinions. So they don't want you to look at them and be like, oh, this is a kid, he doesn't really know what he's doing. They want to be a part of some ideas that you have out there. So these are like pictures of all these technology things of where they can be in contact with you. They just make sure that you're collaborating with the young people, and the young people and the older people are connecting. If you have that mentorship program, it's very important for a young person to feel like they're a part of your team. So what can you do to collaborate with them? They also want collaboration and communication, but they also want independence. And so what can you do for them to be on their own, and you trust them to make decisions, but that they're also collaborating with you as an employee and as a person. So just give them that space, but also give them the community. I wanted to tell you, I read a really interesting article that was out just like a month ago, and it said that there's an age gap where if somebody is a younger person and an older person, and their manager is 12 and a half years older than them, you have to be more intentional about your communication, because that younger person looks at the older person and says, oh, that person doesn't know anything, and what have you. And then the older person looks at the younger person, they're not doing their job. And it's really just, you've got to be more intentional about communicating with that 12 and a half year age gap and more. So if you're an employee and you're a supervisor and you've got younger people under you and they're 12 and a half more years younger, you've got to be very intentional about communicating with them and about connecting with them. And same with them. You need to provide those opportunities for you guys to connect. Work-life balance, we're just hearing this word all the time, right? But it's true. They don't have some of the things that baby boomers have, like pensions. You're getting all this retirement, or you stay with me all these years and you get more and more money. So they're more readily willing to go to another company. So making sure they have work-life balance is important, because they're not staying with you because of their pension, because they don't have one. So giving them other opportunities that just aren't about pay, but work-life balance is something that you just need to figure out ways that you can provide that for them. Embracing new technology. So do you have a lot of technology in your truck? Lane mitigation, all the things, right? Do you have those things in your truck? Do you have a TMS system that's integrated? Or are you still using paper? All the things that you can do to be up in front in the trucking industry with technology is really important to Gen Z. The other thing that's important to know is they catch on really quickly, but they still need to be trained. So don't just send them out there and say, oh, well, they're young, they'll be able to figure it out really easily. No, They need to be trained exactly on what to do, and then they can pick it up really easily. But embracing new technology as a company is very important if you want to manage and retain Gen Z to work for you. And a lot of times you'll find it improves your processes as well. And it'll make you more successful in the long run. It might be a bigger investment at first, but it's going to help you in the long run. So, this is, more of that internal truck technology, the speed limits, the distance, all of those things are really important. And just letting them know what you have as a company in your truck and under the hood of the truck really does excite Gen Z. Another thing that's really important is mental health. So Gen Z, they're really open to mental health talks. You're going to see more and more that Gen Z expects mental health as a benefit. Just like we're used to having health as a benefit, they're going to want to have mental health as a benefit, right? There's a statistic out there, I think truck drivers, the average age of a truck driver is 62 years old. And that is a terrible statistic. So what are you doing to keep your drivers healthy? There are companies out there that have fitness plans. How can they make good decisions on the road by making healthy choices when they're at the truck stops? And then what are you doing do you have a counselor or one of those programs where they can call a counselor if they need to? And so Gen Z is really going to expect that and start to look into that, because there are programs out there that you can give them those mental health needs that are covered for them. So we're attracting, we're retaining, and we're managing. And I think the backbone of our country is the small fleet, right? You're in your community. What can you do to give back, to attract young people to come work for your family-owned companies? They want to stay in their communities, and working for you they can. And so it's very important that you're putting your message out there and growing your company and just growing the people who work for you and being a great culture, right? Being a family that you all care about each other. And I think that in trucking, we do that. Any questions that I can answer you? I also have my card up here and brochures about our organization, the Next Generation Trucking Association. If you need help getting involved in your local school, we'd be glad to help. Question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for this presentation. It's very informative. But a quick question on these younger drivers. Mm-hmm. So sometimes the insurance companies don't really take too well to younger drivers, especially in the commercial driving side of things. So anything that you can enlighten us on that?
Yeah. So a lot of times people, and you guys might be aware, there's a program called the Safe Driver Apprenticeship Pilot Program where 18 to 20-year-olds can drive interstate. And it's about having a conversation with your insurance carrier. Even companies like Great West, they will let you hire an 18-year-old if you're in this program. Now you have to do a lot of things to get in this program. You have to be one of the safest, a very safe carrier out there. You need to have a mentorship program. The people who are getting approved to have younger drivers have training protocols in place. So they're not just saying, okay, hey, we're hiring this person, they don't have any experience, but go out there and make deliveries. It's like you have a well thought out finishing program when they come to work for you. And then you have things like Luma Learning where they're continuously learning and watching videos that they can interact with and having a mentor and having a finishing program. And that's a great question that we get a lot. One of the things that we're doing is building out high school programs with driver simulation training. And our program is a 210-hour course they take as a senior. And it's just driver simulation training. It's that ELDT theory. It's learning the industry. It's a holistic approach to learning the industry. And then they go, when they graduate, then they go to community college or driving school, get their behind-the-wheel training. And then ideally, they're going to go into an apprenticeship program and really learning things. So we really feel like if a young person they're passionate about it. This is what they want to do. They go through a long process to get into the industry, and they really learn safety protocols. They're going to be better off than just somebody that's 23 years old that just comes off the streets and says, I don't think I want to be a driver now. And so that's what we're trying to build, is young people getting really excited about the industry in training and safety, and starting off with that driver simulator. So that's some of the things that we're doing. That's a great question. Anybody else? I think we're right about time. And I'll be in front. We also have a booth in the North Atrium Lobby. We've got about 500 diesel tech students tomorrow coming from around high schools in Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. So if you see a busloads of kids, these are diesel tech students, and we're getting them excited about the trucking industry, and who knows, hopefully someday they'll come and work for you. So feel free to come visit our booth, and thanks for your support.